Hello, y'all, and welcome to the 13th episode, I think, of the Anti-Filter podcast. A podcast for the girls, the gays, the theys, the criminally insane, the disabled, the neurodivergent, and the autistic. I am your host, Alison.
And I am your host, Shannon.
And today we are just catching up. Literally, we have not recorded in almost 2 months.
It's been so bad. Sorry, y'all.
This is what happens when you have two hosts that are severely mentally ill.
Big slay.
And you and I also haven't FaceTime in a long time. I'm gonna share something with you. So we're gonna do like a weekly check-in, but honestly, most of this is just gonna be us catching up because we haven't even FaceTime. But I did want to share some good news with you, and I haven't really told anyone. I told like a couple like best friends, but that's about it. So my mom, and then I want you to talk about Lost Lands, and we're just gonna get into it. My mom, when she was here, she was visiting. We were gonna do a podcast episode with her. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
It was a time while she was here, and we decided that she would move back. And I've been saying for a long time, like I want to take care of her. Is this plugged in? Yeah, it says plugged in as it will get. Then and like my whole thing with social media is like I wanted to like move her back. That was my whole thing. And she lives in Ecuador currently, and she moved there 4 years ago because she couldn't afford to live in Canada for the rest of her life, but she can afford to live in Ecuador. And she has been looking at houses. I was like, if you can last for 5 years, I'll be able to take care of you in 5 years. And she put an offer in on a house. It didn't get accepted. It was like this fucking crack shack, like a disgusting crack shack.
Oh,
and
no.
she ended up putting an offer in on another house. And I was at the gym yesterday filming a YouTube video when I got the message that she got the house.
That is so exciting.
Back. Yeah, and I was like, I was just hysterical. I was bawling my eyes out. And I'm going to go see it today. And she should be back in time for Christmas. And it will be the first Christmas that we've spent together in 4 years, 5 years. So she's
crazy.
hopefully going to be back for the beginning of December so we can do like Christmas festivities.
That is so exciting.
No, I'm literally so excited. I love her so much. Like, honestly, I just want to like make cool shit, make people feel less alone, and like hang out with her. And that's all I want to do.
Well, like, I don't know. I feel like everything happens for a reason. And I feel like her moving back is like, it's happening all at the right time for you.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I really mentally like needed it. You know, we were at Sandbanks, which is like one of my favorite places in the world because I used to go there when I was a kid, and she'd like rent a cottage every summer, and we'd go, and we went there, and it was horrible. We got into this fight on the beach, and I was just so angry because when she came back, I didn't truly kind of like realize just how disabled I was. And while she was here, I had a lot of realizations, and it was also, I was feeling like extreme shame. And I was also very angry with her because, as you know, like as a BPD girly, BPD is not like it's not passed down. Like you get it from childhood trauma. And I was just so angry because I felt like she had caused me so much trauma, specifically with her ex-boyfriend. And it was like she just wasn't even here to like repair the damage, and I was going through all this shit, and she's my favorite person on the planet, and it was just so upsetting that she hasn't been here. And it was the first time that she visited that I felt like her and I, like, we did fight a lot, but it was the first time that I was like really upset that she was leaving, because I did really enjoy the time with her, because I get like she stayed at my place the whole time. She was supposed to stay at her friend's place, but it was like this dingy place. She literally got there was a fucking mouse in the kitchen sink, like a dead mouse. There were like thousands of fruit flies. Like, it was fucking disgusting. So she just stayed here the whole time, but before, she was staying in my apartment that was like under 300 square feet. So we were fucking trying not to kill each other. So anyway, she's moving back. You and I have both been severely mentally ill. Nothing changed there. but you also went to Lost Lands this past weekend.
Girl, the way in which this festival tried to like kill me and my best friend.
The what? A what?
Like no, literally, actually, like just it, it was probably by far one of the worst experiences of my entire life. And so, basically, to make a long story short, after the first night and everything that we saw, experienced, witnessed, we were like, fuck no, actually. And I kept telling her, I was like, I have a really bad gut feeling. I'll get into the details in a second. But we
Yeah.
actually ended up deciding to leave. We left. We like left literally Saturday, and we picked up my dog and we came here and we had a staycation at the house. We turned off our phones. We isolated, we rotted, we snacked, we had a great time, but it was terrifying. And to make a very so basically we get there, everything's fine, but like they did not check our cars whatsoever. Like did not
They did
check
not
our
they did not check cars?
like they were checking cars.
So
Apparently
wait,
they
before you get into what happened, like I don't really understand, like Lost Lands is, from what I gather on social media, it's like an EDM festival and it's centered around dinosaurs. Like I don't,
yeah, it's
what
a
is
huge
it?
like so it's basically a huge like EDM festival. It's a huge camping festival. It's
Oh,
one of the more well-known ones, and it's ran by a DJ named Excision. Um
okay.
yeah. So like he is a wonderful DJ. But I did not know the rabbit hole of Lost Lands that I went down until I experienced the things that I did and watched it all happening real time. So hold on for a wild ride, because so we did research upon research. This was like a huge festival that I've wanted to go to for years at this point.
Yeah.
And originally I was supposed to go with my ex. It was tickets that were given to me by Caitlin for my birthday for me and my ex to go. He's not big into camping, so our original plan was to get a hotel. Well, a month after my birthday, I got cheated on and my dog died. So I was like, you know what? Over my dead fucking body, will I go to this festival with you? So I was like, it's only fair that I take my best friend, the person who bought the tickets, and it's the only person I really want to go with. And we decided to do camping. We were up all nights of the hour, like reading that they have dogs, that they like, that you need to be like on lock, that like they will tear your car apart searching it. Girl, when we got there, they opened the trunk. They opened all the doors. They looked. They asked me if the Rice Krispies in my trunk were edibles, and we kept it moving. They didn't check for guns. They didn't have dogs. They had not a lick of anything to check anything. So we
Oh,
immediately get in and we're like, so we're going to get on campgrounds and sleep in a tent with no lock while having no idea of who's got what in their car. Okay. So we get there, we set up camp. It's fucking hot as shit. Keep in mind, so basically during this time period, usually Ohio is like a high of 75 and a low of 55. So we were reading left and right to bring like warm clothes for the evening, that it's going to be so cold at night that usually it rains. Well,
yeah.
Ohio's been in like a drought for like a month and a half. So it's dry, bitch, and it's the grassland, so it's dusty and it's just dry. The high one day was 93. So, oh, and the coldest it got was 69. So we ended up sleeping outside of our tent the first night. Bitch, the rabbit hole that I'm about to go down with you guys is actually insane. So we get dressed. I'm in my like skimpy little like I'm about to die in this heat outfit. I look like Shigo. It's a big sleigh. We love it. And we start
Like
trekking
Kim
up this
Possible?
fucking yes. It's like a two-piece gray or excuse me, green. Two-piece green and black like little set, and it was a big sleigh, and I had boots all the way up to my knees. Which is probably my demise. Because I was not temperature regulating well at all. Keep in mind, at this point, we are stone cold sober, babes. Not a lick of anything is in our system, just water and some snacks. Which this is also important to preface that for the last like 3 weeks, right before going on this trip, me and Bestie said fuck the cut. Like, we absolutely binged. We did not eat right. I've been shitting my brains out.
Oh
So
no.
this is important to know because, as you know, when you're not like following your regimen and you're eating a whole bunch of not good shit, your stomach quite literally is begging why and pleading that you just kill her now. So we're like nauseous, empty stomach, not hungry, but like not feeling the greatest. And we start trekking up this hill. Oh, another confounding variable here. I, right before Lost Lands, came down with a head cold. So at the hotel the night before, I did not sleep but 2 hours, and I was blowing my nose so much that actually the sides of my nose here are completely raw. Like completely, like I rubbed
Oh
all the skin
no.
off. So I had Mucinex in my system, which I did not know severely dehydrates you. And I'm climbing and trekking up this hill in 90-degree heat with like nothing in my system. So we're halfway up the hill. We're about to pass out and throw up. We're like, we're going back down the hill. We're not going to make it to festival in the sunlight. That's not going to happen. So we go back to camp and for 4 hours, just sit there. Keep in mind, there's a burn ban. So we can't even like smoke a little joint or any kind of like thing to unbind our stomach of the knots that it's in. We're just sitting in the heat.
Oh,
Just sitting there.
that
So around
sounds
5 p.m., we're like, fine, we're going to go back out, right? We're going to go back out to this festival. We make it. It's huge. It's overstimulating. I forgot that this is Bestie's first time ever being at an EDM festival altogether, which if you've never been, it's a very overstimulating experience. I remember like I was talking to some people on social media and they're like, I don't know how you do that, like with the things that you struggle with. And I was like, babes,
Yeah.
I'm not promoting it, but like I use party favors. I don't
Yes.
like going sober is very hard. And I don't go crazy with the party favors because of the experience I literally had in the preceding hours that I'm about to tell you. But anywho, so we get there overstimulated as fuck. We're trying to find like some places to hang out at. We're there for about like 2.5 hours. And I'm like, you know what? Now's a great time to get into some of those party favors. So we do. Everything's fine. We go to this 360 stage. So basically, like, it's literally a DJ booth. It's called a crater. It's literally like 360 all the way around. We're there for like 45 minutes. And I'm like, you know, I'm getting a little hot. And it's not a good hot. So I looked at her and I was like, let's go ahead and head on out. I'm not liking this. So we head out and like it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, I'm not leaving this festival without puking. That's on me. I'm about to get sick. So I'm trying to find any area that I can that is not near people, that is like ducked on off, because usually at a festival, if a medic catches you vomiting, you're immediately getting like taken into a medic tent, and like that's where you will reside until you're good, and then you will leave the festival and not come back in.
Oh.
That's how they do it at like other big festivals.
Okay.
So I'm like, damn, like we're gonna get caught the fuck up. Let's go back to camp. I can like woo-saw the fuck out and we can figure out where we're going from here.
Yeah.
There's literally like 4 medics on like go-karts. They don't like ever stop it to check on me once. Like I'm literally puking in the middle of like the grounds. Like I'm in a walkway, like I'm not hiding. Like I'm not like behind a tree like getting sick. I literally have my hands like in a lat raise form and I'm just like lean forward, like vomiting water, just straight water. Like it was nothing in my system but water. Nothing came out. I was like, okay, great. I also did drink like a half a gallon while I was in the crater because I was starting to freak out a little bit. So I was like just pounding the water, which was not helping. So we went back to camp. She was also at that point starting to fight the nausea. So we just were like, fuck this. We're going to stay at camp until like things kind of get better. And we wrote it out. We fought with our portable shower that was not working. We did not realize that you have to hang the bag from something. So we were standing on the cooler holding the bag for each other. We were on a hill as well, so I almost fell over like naked in the shower. Bitch, it was such an experience and it was not a good one. Like the whole time, like I'm going through waves of like, oh look, this is kind of fun and wonky and like fun. And then I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna get sick again. And terrible experience. So then we're like, you know, we try to eat some goldfish. I throw up again. She didn't get sick once. It was just me the entire
fucking
time.
goldfish. No.
It was literally just me the entire time. And then so we're like, well, it's too hot to get in this tent because the low is 69. Yeah. So we're laying outside of the tent, watching a lot of people walk by us. Terrifying. just terrifying. Just knowing that we were like out to the open like that, and anybody could just like stumble across our camp. It's terrifying. So we're laying there, and I kept feeling like something on my leg, and I was like, we're surrounded by hay. There's a lot of grass. I'm dusty. I'm dirty. Like, I'm just dripping. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's nothing. Well, I take a little look-see. I take a little peek, and all I see in my peripheral is probably about something this big and
What big?
black.
How big? Okay.
Oh, you can't see. It's probably like
I can't see you.
Huge, bitch. Like 3 inches around at least. Like just a huge black dot. I thought it was a grasshopper. So I freak out. I'm like, there's a bug on my leg. There's a bug on my leg. Bug flies into our blankets. So we are rifling through the blankets trying to find whatever it was on my leg. It was probably the largest, hairiest spider I have ever seen in my entire life. And in that moment, it was like we both unisonly decided our vacation is not ending, but we will not be spending the rest of it here.
No.
Was
it a tarantula?
It's okay. So I did some digging, just for like reference for people at home.
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta know what spider this is. So I was looking up like largest, like Ohio known spider that lives in the grasslands of Ohio. What came up and looked most like my experience, what I experienced, was what's called a Carolina wolf spider.
Oh.
Very large, hairy, and this one was specifically very dark in color. Terrifying. Absolutely god-awful terrifying. And I said, I can't. Caitlin woke up with ants all over her face. And like I said, we woke up at the crack of dawn, packed up, and we said, look, nobody's got to know that we're cutting vacation short. We can like just enjoy it, pretend like we'll just have a staycation at home, because absolutely the fuck not. But I kept laying up with her that night. Like, we stayed up to like 3, just like chit-chatting. And I was like, something bad is going to happen. And she was like, what do you mean? And I said, I get this terrible feeling that something awful is going to happen.
Okay.
Anyways, so we go home. We basically died for the next 2 days. I was recovering from being sick. Like, all we did was sleep and watch the Conjuring series. It was great. We had a great time. Like I said, we literally told everybody, like, hey, still Lost Lands is great, having a great time. Goes back to sleep on the couch.
because you were like, I'm coming home Tuesday. I can't record. And I was like, oh yeah, literally, I don't like.
Yeah, no, literally, we were like, let's just tell everyone we're still on vacation. We'll explain when we like get, because like also when I'm also about to explain is like, to anybody who's ever wanted to go to Lost Lands and it's like your first time, like I'm not gonna lie, like I would highly advise against it. Like the things that I saw, no, like bitch, we got out of there for a reason.
Yeah.
Because like on Sunday morning we woke up because we were like, okay, fuck the camping, we'll just do hotels next time. So we were looking up what the shuttle shit looked like, and like 16 hours ago an article pulled up and a man got in his car and drove through the campgrounds. Like with people in their tents. Like got in his car.
Like
and drove through. Yes.
Like over people?
Yes. Yes. Like I guess he got his hands on some laced drugs. And the campground he drove through was the one right next to us.
Like, did people die?
So that's the thing. 2 people apparently were taken away in critical injury. And so when this happened, we fell down a rabbit hole of like, apparently this is not the first time this has happened, and it just keeps getting covered up.
Well, that's what happens when you don't search, like, that's
when you don't search cars and shit, like that's the shit that's going to happen.
Well, how could you search that many cars? Like, you'd have to, it would be like a logistical fucking nightmare. Like, but that's the thing, is like people were online saying that like it took me 2 hours to get through security. It took me this, like getting online and saying like it's like this huge ordeal. And when we got there was not a single line, and they literally opened the doors, looked, and let us in. That's so irresponsible, dude. Like,
well, it gets worse because then I woke up yesterday morning and now there's reports of 2 people having died at the festival due to, unrelated to the accident, but due to health conditions. And like they keep releasing statements like, obviously we care about the safety and of our like festival goers, which from everything that I saw, if that was the case, like, no the fuck you do not. No, the fuck you do not.
Yeah.
People were asthmatic. Oh, we fell down a rabbit hole. People were asthmatic, full asthma attack, being turned away from medics. When the dude ran over campers, like he was on top of campers in his vehicle, not getting out of his car, it took a bunch of festival goers to yank him out of his car and basically start whooping his ass, because when they ran up to security, security said, oh yeah, like I can't call 911 from my walkie-talkie. Like you have to figure that out.
And
We walked
security
past
too was high, right?
we walked past staff that were rolling.
Oh, bro, that's so
Bro, I
irresponsible.
was terrified for my life. So they released this statement saying that, these two people died from unrelated health conditions like asthma and basically heart conditions, which if it's that dry, hot, and like postpone the event, bro. Because this week it's like the high is 76 there and it's been raining all week. Like if you would have just postponed it a week, you probably would have avoided those deaths. Well, someone commented on this Lost Lands post that basically a young woman was taken advantage of in her campsite. And the next night she tried to commit suicide in the forest at the festival because of what happened to her. So I was
What
extremely
happened to
glad that
her?
we left. She was raped in her campsite.
Dude, I can't even. No, I'm
Like,
so.
no, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, but like, this shit is buried every fucking year. Apparently,
No.
somebody ran over campers in 2018, and it's been buried over and over and over again.
But like, yeah, well, you know what? And that's the moment where I'm thankful for my fucking autism, because I can't get into a situation
No,
like that.
literally, yeah. Like in
Like I
that
was,
moment, I was like so glad because like same thing. Like I mean, like for example, like me and Caitlin were talking about how like we're very glad that we're not people who are like, well, we spent all this money. Like yeah, we spent all this money and it didn't go as planned, and we're not having a good time. So get the fuck out of Dodge when you
yeah,
want to. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, like I feel like most normal people, like she even like when we were explaining everything to like some friends, like her friends were like, but you spent all this money, and we're like, yeah, it's not fucking worth it.
no, no,
It's not
no,
worth it. They don't care about your safety. Like
no.
no. So I don't
Yeah,
know like what they be doing on social media, if they be paying people to like get on and say certain shit, or like I know that they delete certain shit, like
yeah.
hella people go through like subreddits and delete a bunch of shit, but apparently this is not the first time that shit like this has happened. It won't be the last, and unfortunately like the kind of mutual, at least from like what I'm reading in the communities and stuff, is like it's like it's not the first like excision run show that like this shit happens
Well, they
at.
must have some type of like liability or like form in fine print where you don't where they're not liable if people are like dying or if they're
Yeah.
injured or whatever, because otherwise security would be top notch. But that's, it's funny because I always, something that really kind of like upsets me is I always want to do things like that. I always want to go, but I just can't. And I've gone a few times sober, and I had a huge mental breakdown when I went with my ex, who said he'd leave with me at any time, and then he just did hard drugs and then left me there, and then I couldn't get to the car because it was just a fucking nightmare. But it's interesting because I was thinking back recently because of everything that happened with my mom, and I was like, well, and you know how the internet likes to gaslight me into thinking I'm not autistic. And I was like, well, I went to festivals before, or not festivals, but like I've gone to concerts before and I had fun. And I was like, well, I can't remember my childhood. And when I did go to concerts, it was when I was like blackout, completely fucked. And that's why I was fine. And
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with like a lot of people who are autistic, is you end up having people that are just like have to use drugs and alcohol to cope, because it's literally impossible to do life without it, unless you just are living like me where all you do is just go to the gym and go to the grocery store and then like that's it. But
Yeah.
even that, like I'm still, I don't know. I wanted to like talk about on the podcast something that I kind of realized recently, which was, I don't know. So I think from like I'm recovering from being in abusive relationships, and I've spent several years single, and I like being single. I'm happy, and it's the first time in my life where my life has not been like male centered, and I genuinely don't want a relationship. I just want to like make money so my mom is less stressed. But I realized, and I made a YouTube about it yesterday, that like I don't know, I have to like, when you realize that you've actually been disabled your whole life, it's funny because I thought about this actually yesterday on a client call, that when I was younger, I think from when I was in rehab the last time, from 2013 to 2014 or 2015, I was on disability. And I didn't understand what being disabled meant. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, like I'm on disability. I cheated the system. They think I'm disabled, but I'm not. And now I'm at the point where everybody says that when you're late diagnosed and you realize that you're disabled, you have to go through this like mourning process. And I'm at a point right now where I really am trying to get out of hating myself again, because I'm filled with this extreme shame. And when my mom was here, we went out to dinner, and she wanted to shop. We went to Home Sense, like we went to all these places, and I wasn't used to having somebody around me 24/7, and I also wasn't used to going to all these places. Like usually I try to go to like one like place that's not the gym like a week, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I was just filled with this extreme shame, because here I am finally getting to go out for dinner or breakfast or whatever, because I usually go like once a month with friends because life is expensive. And I can't even enjoy it with the person that I want to enjoy it with the most, because I'm literally just having, like, I literally had the first time that we went for dinner when she was here, I literally just had an autistic meltdown, and it was really embarrassing. I find that also, I don't know if you experience this, but I find with the journey with unmasking as a late diagnosed autistic woman, I know how I'm supposed to act. So whenever I'm unmasked around people that like aren't friends, or like people I interact with that are just like normal people that are not in my life, I literally am constantly, if I'm not masked, if I'm unmasked, I'm constantly apologizing for my behavior, because I know how it's not, and I know that that's internalized ableism, but I'm not acting how I'm supposed to act. And it's just so fucking, it's just so upsetting and draining. Like,
I know, I was gonna say I agree. I think like a lot of like healing, whether you're healing through just like trauma and like existing in this fucking awful world, or if you're like dealing with like, intense like moments of dysregulation, I think that like all of it comes with like this mourning, because like it is
yeah,
constant. Like you do have this moment of wake up of like, oh my God, like I will never ever be able to experience like life on like a scale that other people do.
yeah,
Or like I was even explaining this to like one of my friends. Like I was like, I think one of the things is like I've often a lot of the times like lost myself in relationships. Like having BPD, it's something that you do pretty often. Like you just lose yourself. You
yep,
self-abandon constantly,
yeah,
just for like the hope that this person doesn't abandon you. And I was explaining to them, I was like, in all of my relationships, like I think a lot of my partners have had like these like, oh wow, like I'm this awful person and like I need to like work and heal. And they kind of go down this path of like getting better, and I'm left in shambles. And like having to like refine the compassion for myself and relearn how to like live life without co-regulating and being dependent.
yeah,
And so I think, yeah, there's like a lot of these moments of like mourning, right? Or like the realization that like our brains will never be able to like if I'm in a safe, healthy, happy relationship, I'm also
yeah,
going to like be the one creating chaos. If I'm in something that feels safe and comfortable, most likely I'm with a narcissist.
yep,
Like that's
yep,
so
yep.
shitty.
No, it's horrible. And the thing too is that, and this is something that I actually was talking to another autistic creator about last night, because um oftentimes, like, because and neurodivergent people, we've talked about this before, they travel in packs, like we all find each other, so the great thing about being online and having, I guess, like an online presence, is you get to like meet people that are like you. But the thing too is like, being an autistic person, whether you're like late diagnosed or whether you're not, a lot of your if people that aren't autistic or neurodivergent, like, pretty much just don't get it. Like, I find that a lot of people who are ADHD, there are a lot of commonalities. There's also a lot of differences. When you're both, it's just very hectic. But I think we often end up going to other people in the autistic community to feel understood. And I was talking to a creator friend of mine last night. I fucking love her. She's autistic and she makes a lot of very, really, really well researched, scripted, educational, autism, and like, other mental health content. And it's very good. And I messaged her last night because the thing is within the autism community, and I didn't really realize this until yesterday, there are like the autism police. And it's really hard when you go to your own community to find, like, I guess, solace and I don't know, to just be understood, and then you have people within that community just hating on each other. And I was talking to her about another creator who, and here's the problem, is that because we're autistic, right? We're very literal and everything is just like so literal. But there's another creator who all she does is come for other autistic creators. And like she's trying to be informative and educational, and I get what she's doing. And it's really fucked up because like nuance is very important, and also like people use words interchangeably, right? Like
Yeah.
some words are synonymous of other words, and she came for a creator and was like, well, this means this and that means that. Like what did she say? I'm gonna pull it up, and you know what? If for some reason she listens to this podcast, I just know I'm gonna get in trouble, but I really don't give a fuck. Okay,
Well, I
let's go
think
on.
too, like, I think it's like we're in an era where, and I was actually talking about this with my therapist yesterday. We're in an era of social media that is like very mental health focused, if you will. A lot of
Yeah.
people are like realizing things about themselves. There's like a wider spread of information, but she even herself said that like social media is like kind of picked up on this, and like, not that it's making it necessarily trendy, but like, a lot of more people are just talking about their experience.
Mhm.
And I think when you have those personal ties into it, like it's very easy to get defensive over the things you've experienced and say
Yeah.
like, hey, no, like this term actually means this. But
Well,
like the
okay,
reality,
so like I get
I was
that,
going to say
but
the reality of it is though, is that like it's a spectrum disorder. Like,
you're
and
gonna
people are going to
laugh at
experience
this though.
things. You said what?
I said you're gonna laugh at this though because it's not even like it's not like something that's serious, like
Yeah.
saying nonverbal versus verbal shutdown, because that
Yeah.
makes sense, right? And I do like it when people come for me because it allows me to like educate myself further. This was the specific thing. So this creator she sent me her comment. She keeps sending me her comments on other people's videos. I don't know what the point is, but anyway, they were talking about the RCCX theory. And she said, it's not a theory, it's a hypothesis. A theory is a well substantiated explanation based on evidence from repeated testing and observations. So, theory and hypothesis are synonymous with one another. Like, it's not, I think it's
From like
so,
a scientific standpoint, she
yes,
is correct, but
she
like
is
again,
correct.
with the same token, like
The,
in everyday language and vernacular, theory and hypothesis are very much used interchangeably. And like
yes,
you said, it'd be one thing if she was correcting like again, like something like verbal shutdown, like
yes,
very autistic, like
yeah,
important terms to know the differences between,
yeah.
and then like debating like two synonyms in the English language.
And I get what her mission is, right? And she's often talks about, and I think that this is very fair, and I think it makes a lot of sense, and it's also very important to bring light to this, right? Because within the medical community specifically, there's not a lot of testing done on people that aren't white. Like if you're looking at studies, she's cited several studies that a lot of creators tend to cite, but she's been like, hey, by the way, the people that were tested were predominantly white. Black people are not included in this, and I think that that's very important to talk about. The thing with studies within the nutrition space, within the medical space, like studies that are done are a great jumping off point to have more studies done. it doesn't mean that it's the be all end all if you're testing, you know, 26 people over a 6-month period or 4,200 people over a 6-month period, whatever it may be. It's a good jumping off point. It doesn't mean that it's a statement of fact. But I think what she's doing is important work, because there was someone like an autistic creator who's also an actress, and she was talking about a study, and it was harmful, and she pointed out that it was harmful because she was basically saying that there was a study done, I don't know, somewhere in I think like Australia, and it was basically stating that all autistic people die at like 35 or something like that, which is very scary to spread that kind of misinformation. And she's doing a really good job of like helping educate people, and unfortunately a lot of people are very much on the defensive. It's not taken very well, and I was very supportive of her within that. But I think also, and it's something that you and I talked about too when we talked about anti-racism efforts, because I was like, okay, I want to create more content on that. But I realized that unfortunately, if you're yelling at people, people are just going to shut down and not listen to you, unfollow you, block you. And you need to find a way to get your message out to more people in a more digestible and relatable way. And I also think that this creator, unfortunately, it's hard. Because I think also, you know, as somebody who, in her case, is often underrepresented and not taken into account, because here's the thing. Within the autistic community, there are white autistic women. There are lots of people with autism, fucking obviously. But we are white women first. We are not autistic first, right? And a lot of us do tend to forget that. But I think that it's hard too, because we're autistic and we're so literal, we want people to like understand our point of view, and a lot of people who are autistic and who are late diagnosed are like, autism becomes our special interest. But I think it's sad because she probably spends a lot of time being very frustrated because people are not using like the right vernacular, and it must be very stressful. But it got to a point where, you know, she sent me like I think 2 or 3 times like specific comments that she's made, and I'm just like, I don't know what you expect me to do here. Like, the reason why I create the content that I create is because it's very hard to make educational content about autism, in my personal opinion, because I don't want to spread misinformation. I like to make content about my own life because it's something that's real to me. It's something that I experienced and I can't get wrong. But it's just, and it's also weird, like within the space of, yes, the autistic community, but TikTok in general, like, bro, the fact that we as people are able to know like very intimate details of drama within people's lives, and that it becomes our stress. And this isn't a specific instance, because I messaged you and I was like, something I do want to talk about in the podcast. This is not an instance of, I guess, like drama. It's just actually really fucked up. So there, and I'm using this vernacular because this is how she describes herself. Gloria, and I believe that her account name is spelled Gollira. So I thought that I was trying to like pronounce it, so I made sure that I went online to like make sure that I was saying her name correctly. But her name is Gloria, and she refers to herself as a dark-skinned black content creator, and she does makeup. And she did something amazing recently. Like, I love her for this. So she constantly calls out makeup brands for not being inclusive. And she's been in a lot of fucking quote unquote controversies for just calling out makeup brands for not being inclusive. And recently she called out Rhode, which is Hailey Bieber's company, because Rhode made blushes, like a lot of companies do, that weren't good, like that wouldn't work on people who have not white skin. And recently, what has been happening in the TikTok space is YSL came out with these blushes that are more like concealer. They don't even work on white skin. Not that that should be like, what I'm implying by that is it's indicative that like they literally didn't test on anybody. And within their promotional materials, like their marketing materials, they have that blush on black skin women, but it's not there. It's very clear and very obvious that they didn't actually put the product on them. So they sent these blushes to Gloria, and she was like, why the fuck are you even sending me this shit? Like, literally, white creators used it and they were like, what is this? And she had to take a break. She literally put out a statement and she took a break from social media because she was getting so much fucking hate from white people for literally just saying, hey, this doesn't work on my skin. It's not inclusive. And there were other creators who were like, no, we need you. We need you to stay here. Like, we need you in this space. And she was like, you know what? Like, what did she say? It was so good. And it literally just brought me to tears. I was fucking mad for her. And she basically was like, listen, I'm just taking space. Like, I need to take my space. The specific post said, the internet has become increasingly violent space, particularly for dark and black women. It's heartbreaking and harmful to constantly confront overwhelming colorist, anti-black, race and racist rhetoric that's directed at us by the masses. No one should be forced to endure that level of emotional trauma. What's even more disturbing is how bigotry and white fragility are amplified when black women, especially with darker skin, speak out. The world constantly refuses to listen to us or acknowledge our experiences. And she keeps going on. I don't want to take forever to read it. And the specific creator commented and she said, don't let these people chase you off the net. And her response was incredible. She said, don't let the internet chase you off the internet is dismissive of the real emotional toll that dark-skinned black women face in online spaces that is filled with colorist, anti-black, and racist rhetoric. It ignores the systemic bigotry and white fragility that surface when black women speak and places the burden on them to endure harmful environments instead of addressing the oppressive stressors that perpetrate this violence. Encouraging somebody to stay in a space that dehumanizes them isn't productive or empowering. Sometimes stepping away is an act of self-care, not defeat. The focus should be on making these spaces safer, not on expecting individuals to withstand the harm. Mic fucking drop.
Well, I was going to say too, even when you were bringing it up, like kind of ping-ponging back just a bit there for a second, like kind of talking about how like autism or like mental health research is like a lot of white people, right?
Yep.
Like historically, we see white people being quote unquote more diagnosed or white
Yep.
people being like having more instances, right? That's
Yep.
not because white people are the only one experiencing autism. It's
Yep.
because more often than not, generationally, it's not like the medical community has not
Yeah.
been safe for black individuals.
Yep.
And so generationally, they don't go to doctors. They don't go get looked at. Actually,
Yep.
it's historically known, generationally speaking,
Mm-hmm.
that black Americans do not go to mental health services. Like it's not a thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's not something that's often talked about. But when you look at things such as emotional dysregulation, looking at things of overstimulation and social disorders, obviously autism is going to impact black individuals very differently because their social norms look very differently than white
Then our
social norms. And the reality of it is an autistic black kid could be very, very harmful to that entire family because if you're not acting into your social cues, there's a chance for death. I mean, I think that's the thing that white people lack a lot of the times is realizing, just like Gloria said, like how dangerous and
Yep.
harmful these environments truly can be.
Well, there was an instance recently where a 13-year-old, I forget, and please don't quote me on this, but there was an instance where there was a white girl who was very violent, and I think she killed her. I believe she killed her mother over something like absolutely insane. And everyone was saying, well, you know, it's a mental health issue. And you know what? The reality of it is that if it were a black kid who was 13, they would be violent. Like it would be looked at so differently because it's always, especially with school shooters, it's always, well, you know, it was hard for them and they grew up in a shitty home and they had mental health issues. But as soon as you change that headline like as soon as it's a black person, it's completely changed. And it's so fucked up because it's something too that I remember I was reading it and I was like, well, you know, maybe she's mentally ill. And then I was like, I had to like take a second and like kind of address that within my own brain and be like, okay, we need to reframe this mindset because if we do think about it, there's no fucking way that it would be looked at and like written about in this way if it were about a Black person, which is just so fucked up. And that's what I meant when, I was talking about this Black creator, because I think that she has a reason to be angry, because the fact is like Black people are not represented within research within the medical community, and it's just really fucked up. Like, I think, and I'm not gonna cite something specific because I don't remember it, but I remember reading about how many more Black people died during COVID as opposed to white people, because they weren't taken seriously when it came to like medical care, and because of that they weren't seeking it. So a lot, like, it was like a disproportionate amount of Black people died during COVID by comparison to white people.
Trigger warning here, just because I understand that a lot of the stuff that we're talking about is very triggering to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But there are extreme accounts of, like, there's literal numbers. For example, here in America, Black women are 30% more likely to die in childbirth.
Yep.
Most of those women do not receive any form of pain medication, such as an epidural, and are told to wait. And one of the reasons that this kind of like the dialogue and rhetoric of like, well, they're Black, so we're not going to take what they're saying for what it is, comes from the fact that specifically America, I have no idea on Canadian history, but American scientists way back when, which is really not even that far, like 4 decades ago, used Black Americans for research. And in these researches, they would also like prove that like the skin color made a difference, essentially, that like in pain tolerance and other things, it made a difference. They actually still to this day use 2 different algorithms. Now, I learned this in public health probably about 6 years ago now, so I doubt that it's changed. Someone please come forward and correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But to my knowledge, as of right now, they still use 2 different algorithms for anesthesia based on skin color.
It's not surprising, but it's very fucked up.
And like to learn something like that in a college education course where I'm going into public health, and like there's no discussion on like, yeah, like we're trying to actively change that. So, I mean, the other thing too, right, is I think a lot of kind of like that comment on her post was talking about like, don't let the internet chase you off. I feel like it's always like this weird burden and responsibility that I guess like fans or like whatever like parasocial relationships that'll place on people, as if it's her responsibility to take the hate and fucking educate us.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Like, it is not her job she shouldn't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Like, she just shouldn't.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because it did come from another Black creator. And I did comment on it, and I was like, I'm so sorry that like my people, like white people, have fucking done this to you and have chased you off the internet. I'm so sorry that this is your experience. You've taken the time to educate us for free and done a beautiful job doing it. I was like, I hope that not that like she's gonna see it or whatever, but I just wanted to be supportive, because like when it comes to being chronically online and then receiving a bunch of hate when you're just trying to like educate people or just simply share your experiences, it's very hard to deal with. But I can't even imagine, I cannot begin to fathom, because I'm fucking white, but I can't even begin to fathom the shit that she has gone through by just advocating for herself. And the beautiful thing is that by being loud in this way, she has created change within that industry. Like Hailey Bieber reached out to her, and again, here's the thing, like it shouldn't be up to Black women within the makeup industry to like educate us. People should just be testing their products on all different skin types. That's just how it should be. And it's not. I think though what's interesting that I have a theory on is I think that brands that are not doing well, that people have not heard of or people are not buying products, I think that they will intentionally send them to Black creators who are very loud about the fact that the makeup industry is completely flawed. Why the fuck are you using white bases for a bunch of blush? I could not tell you, which is why House Labs is lit. But I think that they're doing it intentionally, not creating a diverse shade range, sending it to Black creators so that they can review it and then come back and do better. Like, when they should just be like, because I think it's like a marketing ploy. That
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a theory that I had.
I think
I could
too
be
though,
wrong.
like I think also like the reality of it is like, for
Mhm.
example, I mean, shade ranges has been a discussion since like forever.
2017
Okay.
Fenty
Like
Beauty.
I was gonna say, I was in that whole makeup. First off, it is one of the most drama filled, like that whole that whole range of like social media, like it's already toxic. It's already like
Yeah.
it's already toxic as hell. Like there's so many content creators I could pull out of my ass that and a lot of them are white that just do like a whole bunch of toxic shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, I will still watch the content, I will still listen to the reviews, but like everyone over there is a hot mess. Like, for example, I don't need to explain Jeffree Star. Like that whole area of like industry and like social media campaigning and the makeup industry is just fucked. But
Because
regardless,
didn't he literally, like, I'm
don't
not
even get
sure
me
if
started
Jeff,
on that man.
but
That man is
well, didn't he literally create a makeup palette that had a swastika on it?
like, he's literally so problematic, bitch. Like, he has done so much shit over the years. And like, you know, kudos to you for keeping your fucking, I guess, empire, whatever you want to call it. But we all know the only reason why it's flying is because at the end of the day, like, he is white.
Yeah.
Neither here nor there. Shade range has been a huge discussion for forever. Like,
Yeah.
it's not new. It's been around for the last 10 years. If
Mm-hmm.
companies wanted to do better, they would. They have entire marketing teams. They have people who get shelled thousands of dollars a year whose job it is just to maintain their public relations. You want to tell me that they don't know better? Absolutely
Yeah.
not. It's like the same thing when the Kardashians will post a photo and they're like, you know, spray tan cuts off at the wrist and you just see the pale white hand and they post it. People know they're wanting to stir the, like,
Yeah.
they want to stir that pot in order to keep the conversation going.
Yeah. I think, yeah, it's funny, I've said this before. I'm like, I feel like whenever things are quiet for them, one of them goes out with box braids.
Yeah. They're don't even get me yeah. The real
Yeah.
the I don't know. It's just one of those things where like white women will like capitalize off like the black girl blueprint, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
they will capitalize off the trends, off the like the culture. I mean, because the reality of it is white people don't have a culture. Like, it's just
No, we don't.
we
And we
don't,
do
and
do
we
that.
will like steal from other people's. And so, I mean, the reality of it is like our black content creators, specifically when it comes into the fashion and the makeup industry, like
Mhm.
it's like white women need them and like need them to do what they're doing, but like can't like can't offer the space for them. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
we'll use them for their culture and like their trends and like, oh,
Yeah.
what's like fashionable and like, oh, what should we be doing? But when it comes to actually giving them a platform and like a space that is safe and that
Yeah.
they feel welcome in, it's just never like available, which is just really fucking shitty.
But the thing is with social media is it's always going to be such an unsafe space. Like, it's always unsafe, and it's always, I feel like it it's it protects white men predominantly. Like, I literally
Specifically
made
Instagram.
specifically Instagram. I literally was driving this morning to go get my coffee. I was feeling good. I was very proud. Like, I made enough money to pay rent this month, and I was just really happy. And I was like, I'm trying to like figure things out. Oh, I want to tell you about my doctor. But I was driving and I get to the drive-thru to go pick up my coffee, and I go to Instagram to just, see what's happening there. My post got removed where I literally was saying, I was talking about doing my nails, and I was like, yeah, it's pumpkin spice latte / period color brown, and it got removed for hate speech. And you know what's hate speech? People telling me that they're gonna rape and kill me and hit me over the head with a brick. That's hate speech. Calling me retarded, calling me fucking fat and ugly, that's hate speech, but that's neither here nor there. I did want to tell you, though, about something that happened to me that I'm so happy about, because we've talked about this on this podcast before, and I don't know if I should say it, but I think I'm going to say it. I wouldn't say hate. Maybe I will say hate. I really don't like men. And I think that a lot of people base their opinions off of their personal experiences. I happen to have really poor experiences with men. I do know that there are some good men that exist. I also know that at this point, with the healing that I've done so far, I'm not capable, and with how my brain works with autism, with BPD especially when it comes to relationships, I'm not capable of healing with another person in a romantic relationship, and I genuinely believe that I'm also not capable of finding a partner who is healthy for me. So I have no interest in it. And now that my mom is moving back, I care about two things. Building my social media and like making money so that I can like make her feel financially safe, and helping other people who are like me that are struggling just to feel seen. But I was talking to a friend of mine. I love her, Christy. You'll never hear this because she definitely doesn't listen to the podcast. But out of all my friends, she's my favorite person to hang out with, and I see her the least. And it's always just such a treat when I get to spend time with her. And she was talking to me last week about how she got a partial hysterectomy. So she literally had her uterus removed, but she kept her cervix. So she's still like, she just she doesn't have a period, and she can't have kids. She can get her eggs harvested because she still has her ovaries. And I was like,
Hang on 1 second.
I want that. I need it. That's what I want. So I went to my doctor, and I was super nervous, and I've been trying to get an appointment with my doctor. My breasts have been hurting a lot. I'm supposed to get an ultrasound to see if my masses in my breasts have grown because I got a lumpectomy a year and a half ago. And I went there, and I was super nervous. It was very loud, very noisy. And last time I was there, I had to wait for like an hour and a half to get seen. And
Okay.
I get there, it's fucking loud. I'm freaking out. I couldn't sleep the night before. I was really scared. I had a whole like grocery list of items I needed to cover because I don't go there often because it's just too stressful for me. So I go there, and I have my little list, and I said like I need to be taken seriously. I was like, the reality of it is when I have a period, first of all, I started tracking my period about a year ago. The week leading up to my period, I am suicidal. Like extremely suicidal. I get maybe 2 good days a month, and unless I'm having like for some reason, it's just I the PMDD is so bad. It's so fucking bad. And when I do get my period, I'm so happy, but the first 24 to 48 hours I have a singular cramp, and it lasts 24 to 48 hours. And I was like, even if I said to her, I'm like, even if my period weren't bad, I didn't have PMDD, I wasn't suicidal, and every day of the month I was fine, I still would want to get this, not fucking pork chop. I still would want to get this. I told her, I'm like, I'm so serious. If I got pregnant and I was forced to keep it, I would just commit suicide. I don't want a kid. If for some reason I'm drugged, I fucking meet somebody and they want to have kids, even if I did for some strange reason change my mind, I would never want to have my own biological children because I don't want to pass on my genetics. But she took me super seriously. I got referred to the obs-gyn that my friend went to see because when she went to see it, I know that a lot of people, women who go to obs-gyns will be like, hey, I want this taken out of my body. And then they'll be like, well, are you sure you don't want kids? The guy asked her once. He was like, okay, do you want kids? And she was like, no. And he was like, cool. I think it's going to take 3 years to get the surgery. I think it's going to take a long time. But I told my doctor, I'm like, listen, I don't fucking want birth control. I don't want to fuck up my hormones even more. I'm not having sex. I don't plan on having a relationship. So just like, help me out here, Sister Queen. And I also went and I've seen online, but again, this was taken from a study that was predominantly white. But it was talking about the link between people with autism and EDS. And I did bring it up with her because I have some markers of EDS, and she just basically just did a bunch of referrals for me that I actually needed her to do. She took me super seriously. I was literally crying, and I was like, I was so nervous for this appointment. I just want to be taken seriously, and thank you for doing that. And I just felt this like insane relief because after the medical system in Canada fucking me in the ass royally with a fucking 15-inch with probably a 20-centimeter circumference dildo, I felt like I was like actually being listened to. So that's my good news. Will I get my uterus taken out anytime before 35? Probably not. But we're taking steps. We're taking steps to get there. And
I feel like that's such a huge slay. Like I am so jealous.
No, it's great. But also, I just need to say this. I need to get this off my chest. I have talked to you about, and I switched gyms, by the way. I talked to you about at my previous gym, the beautiful sister queens, the beautiful Ginger, the one who loves Jesus and her boyfriend too. And what I will say
it's so funny.
is in the if you're in the TikTok realm, fuck that little ginger bitch. Okay? And here's why. All right? I guess I'm so desperate for friends and for connection. I thought that she wanted to be friends with me, and this is fair. I think she actually just wanted to convert me to Christianity.
I was going to say, you know what's so funny is I told my roommate, I was like, because I think she heard like your voice note or something, and she was like chuckling, and I was like, did you hear that? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, see, I knew that ginger bitch just wanted to convert her. So that's the funny part.
No, she did, because you know what? I talked to her about God, and not 12 hours later, we were on a walk talking about God. And you know what? The only other time that we made plans is when I was supposed to go to her church. But here's why fuck that little ginger bitch. Because I don't know. I just like my love language is gift giving. I'm autistic. I love presenting little gifts in the form of smooth stones and acorns. But this specifically little gift, she's gluten free. So I came to the gym, I don't know, about 2 months ago, and I brought her a gluten free gnocchi and a fucking dark sport singlet that was gifted to me from a friend online. When I got it, because I at the time I had no money and I really wanted it, and she was like, what size do you want, friend? Like, I'll send it to you. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like crying. So she sends me this dark sport singlet. Immediately I tell her, I'm like, oh, it just got here. Thank you so much. I'm putting it on. I put it on. It does not fit me. And I was like, there's no world in which this will fit me. It's so small. And I told her, I'm like, it doesn't fit me. I'm like, what's your address? I'll send it back to you. She's like, no, it's okay. You can use it on a giveaway. You can sell it. You can give it to a friend. And that was like her go ahead for me to do whatever I wanted with it. So I kept it in my closet. I'm like, maybe one day it'll fit me. And then I realized, I'm like, okay, this girl's like super tiny. Maybe it'll fit her. It is a medium, so I wasn't sure. She's like an extra small. This girl's like 5'2", maybe like 95 pounds. So, I mean, that's probably an exaggeration. She's probably not 95 pounds, but she's very, very small and very lean. So I give it to her, and she didn't really say much, and I was like, okay, whatever. So I texted her, and I told her, I'm like, hey, let me know if it fits. Because in my mind, I was like, well, if it doesn't fit, I don't have a lot of money. I'll just sell it or whatever, So I was at the gym the other day, and obviously I switched gyms. I go online. I go on Instagram. I was so mad. I see her friend who's 6 foot tall wearing it. And I had a feeling, because I hadn't seen, and she's the type of person, she likes dark sport. So I was like, well, if she wears it, like, cause when I asked her if it fit, she said, oh yeah, thank you so much. I'm going to wear it to the airport. I'm like, a dark sport lifting singlet, you're going to wear it to the airport? I was like, whatever, just let it go. And then I see her friend wearing it. I was fucking livid, bitch. Because if she had said to me, it doesn't fit, but I think my friend Jess would really like it, I would have been like, slay, amazing. Like, hopefully it fits her. Hope you enjoy it, whatever. That's fine. But for her to wait until I join another gym and then just post herself wearing it, I screenshot it. I send it to this girl, the little ginger bitch. I'm like, LOL, slay, Lily. Then I go to Jess's story. I click on it again. I can't see any of her stories. I'm hidden from her stories. And then I sent a text to Lily. I'm like, LOL, I love that you hid me from this, that she hid me from the story. I go back, check it again. I'm no longer hidden from the stories. And then I text her, I text the girl, and I was like, hey, by the way, this was supposed to be a gift for Lily. It wasn't supposed to be given to you. I was like, I'd like it back. And I know that that's cunty of me, but I don't care. I was like, let me know when, like, I'll come pick it up tonight. I'm getting on the highway. And so she types, she untypes, types, untypes, types, untypes. It's like that for like 3 whole minutes because she's trying to figure out what to say. I know she's fucking talking to Lily back and forth. So she goes, hey girl, so like Lily and I often share clothing. There's no way. They're literally completely 2 different sizes. This girl's 5 foot. Lily's like 5'2" and like literally half her weight. She's like, yeah, we often share things. And I'm like, cool, I'm going to pick it up. And she's like, oh, sorry, girl. If you just shared clothing with your friend, you would have been like, by the way, this is her singlet, and I literally just wore it for the day. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But she was super defensive, so I knew for a fact it was given to her. Anyway, fuck that little bitch. I went to go pick it up and she blocked me immediately. And I was like, slay. I don't give a fuck if I look like the villain. Fuck her. She can suck my dick. I come home. I put on the singlet. It fits perfectly now.
I'm so dead. But like, I also think too, like, on some real shit, like, I've always been one, especially in friendships, to stand on it's not petty, it's the principle.
That's it. Because
Like,
I
all
don't
you
care
had
if
to
she
do,
gifted it. If she had said
it was
to me,
basically hers. All she had to do was be like, hey, it's not fitting me well. Do you care what I do with it next?
yes, because it's hers. If I give it to someone, it's theirs. But here's the thing. If it's gifted from a company, it doesn't matter. But if it's gifted from a friend, I feel like there should be a year to an 18-month period where you keep it in the back of your closet. And then you can gift it without saying anything.
Yes.
But for her to have waited until I switched gyms, and then for her friend to block me from the story, and then for them to gaslight me, that's what got me. That's what got me, the gaslighting. She could have just been like honest and been like, you know what, girl, like, I didn't really think about it, but maybe I should have asked you, like, like, it is the principle, because I didn't really care. I could have lived without it. It's not that deep for me. But I did this, when it was gifted to me, that's what I did. I contacted the girl who gave it to me and I was like, hey, it doesn't fit. Do you want me to sell it and give you the money? What do you want me to do with it? I'll send it to you. And she was like, no, you can do whatever you want with it, friend. So anyway, they blocked me. Her sister blocked me. I look like an asshole. I don't really care, because at the end of the day, you're going to be telling people that I'm a fucking asshole, that I gift gifts and then take them back. But I had to like consult my friend. I'm like, am I the asshole? And she was like, no, she shouldn't have done that. And I was like, okay, Slay, that's good enough for me. Now I can
You're
go to
also
sleep
like,
at night.
all you were really looking for was like literally all you were looking for was like, girl, you're so right. Like, I probably shouldn't have done that without asking you. Like,
Yeah.
what can I do to make this right? Like, do you
Yeah.
want it back? Like, are we good? Like, what can I do to like right this?
I think, yeah, like,
But then she had to go and gaslight you.
yeah. And I think also, like, too, like, I'm coming to grips with the fact that a lot of people didn't like me growing up because I was autistic, and I feel like sometimes people like use me within friendships, and I'm fed up with it. I'm just done. It pissed me the fuck off. And I think, like, according to God, it was her duty to like try to get me to follow in his path. Like, I don't think she actually liked
That's
me,
all
because
of
I
their
remember
duties.
going
They all
home.
believe that.
What?
They all believe that. Like,
No,
it's
they
their
all believe
duties
that.
to
And
like.
you know what?
They're like, I care about your soul. I don't want you to burn for eternity.
Yes, and you know what? I fucking got my lashes done by her. I am fucking livid, bitch. The first time she did it, amazing. She slayed. She did a great job. She says, I'm ADHD, I'm a perfectionist. And she did an unbelievable job. I go back to her not 2 weeks ago, okay? The lash lift is supposed to last 6 weeks, and it lasted 6 weeks the first time I got it. I go back to her. She does it, but she doesn't consult me and inform me that she's using a different lash pad that was super curly. It doesn't work on my eyes because I have hooded fucking lids, bitch. So she puts this fucking thing on me, doesn't notify me. My lashes don't look the same, but I'm all like invested in my mom because she's texting me. She's like, I made an offer on a house, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, whatever, maybe they'll relax. I leave. I go to the Rogers store. I have a complete autistic meltdown there. I'm like crying, but I don't want to fuck up my lashes. So I'm like crying, but not let it touch. Like, I'm not like crying and closing my eyes. I'm just letting like the tears stream down my face, and I don't want them to touch my lashes and fuck them up. So I tell her the next day, I'm like, or later that day, like at night, because I'm fucking pissed. I paid $160 for my lashes to curl inwards. They look like shit. So then she's like, this has never happened to me before. No. Probably because you cried. And I was like, well, my lashes are extra fucking curly. It should deactivate them, not fucking me. Anyway, so I go there. She puts this solution on it. It takes 10 minutes. I thought she was going to redo it. She didn't. So it just made the lashes less curly. What I will say is, it's really awkward going back to like get a nail fixed or like your eyelashes fixed from somebody that you're never going to go to again. And I'm sitting there, and it is the principal. And I'm sitting there, and she's like, well, I'm not sure. I did contact the manufacturer. This should work. And I said, well, it better, because I didn't pay $160 to have my lashes look like shit. And I knew when I was saying it, it wasn't the right thing to say. But it is also true because why the fuck am I? And then she also says, like, the first time we're getting the lashes done, she's like, yeah, I'm so against people who like are like DIY girlies. And I'm like, yeah, you're against people who are DIY girlies because it takes away your business. And fair. But the way that, like, 2 days ago, I was fucking pissed. I kept looking in the mirror and I'm fucking livid because why did I pay my fucking hard-earned pussy popping passes money that I literally didn't have the money to spend to get my lashes done? I went on Amazon. I ordered a lash kit. I don't give a fuck if I blind myself trying to fucking get this shit done.
Literally.
I will do it myself. I am never going back to her. Fuck that little ginger bitch. And Jesus too.
Yeah. That should be the name of the podcast episode. Fuck that little ginger bitch and Jesus too.
You know what? You're hearing it. That's the name of the episode. Episode 13. Fuck that little ginger bitch and Jesus too.
Stand on it. Yeah, no, I was gonna warn you about that because, like,
no, I remember
they always want to convert you because they think your soul is gonna burn in flames, and they're like, "I'm just looking out for you," and I'm like,
"No,
well, I just need you to stop pushing your book on my life."
And you and like the few people that I was talking to about it, like, I literally thought I was gonna go Christian for like 72 hours, and you guys were like, so
I was like,
supportive. You were so supportive, and then you know what? I was talking to her, and she invited me to her Christmas party that she hosts for her business or whatever. There's like 150 people, and she's talking about like people from the gym, her friends. Like, she's telling me all the tea. They all like do drugs. They all do coke, and I'm thinking, you know, you're like out doing cocaine. I feel like Jesus wouldn't like that.
No.
I feel like Jesus doesn't like when you do cocaine. Like, I feel like that's a sin.
She gives like super toxic positivity. Like,
she does, and you know what? She like says, she's like, no, I'm just like positive, and like she'll always say these things that, like, you know, it just, that's the problem with me with religion. I just feel like it's so, there's so many hypocritical things, and she'll be like she just says it in the most like lackadaisical way. I don't know. She's like, well, you know, like, with a smirk, she's like, it's God's plan. She's like, God's my best friend. She's like, she's like, you know what? Like, I lost my best friend, but I've got Jesus. And I'm just like,
she's like, you know what? Like, I lost my best friend because, like, we got in a huge fight over coke, and like we were extremely high, and I couldn't even tell you why we got in a fight, but I've got my last business in Jesus. So what's gonna go wrong? There's witches like that too, though. There's like bitches who like believe the shit that I believe, and they're just always like, well, if you're just Delulu is the Salulu, and I'm like, no, like, that's facts, but also like, bitch, I'm angry. I gotta let some of this shit out.
Well, I know in Wiccan religion, like, it's a lot of people like assume that witches, it's just like mostly dark magic, but it's a lot of positivity. But you know what I was thinking? Because back when I was like doing like deep dives on Wicca, people sometimes like squeeze it. Okay, let me set the scene for you. I'm wearing period underwear now, and I've been wearing period underwear. It's like this gigantic diaper, but I wanted to.
I just got myself a pair because of you.
No, it's so good. And you know what? I will tell you another thing about the Knix employee, who. Anyway, I'll tell you about it after, and then we gotta wrap this shit the fuck up. So I was standing in the bathroom, and I wanted to get all the fucking 12 hours worth of blood out of my underwear. So I'm wringing it out, and I'm thinking, you know what? Why am I doing this? I really should be putting this blood on a plate, letting it dry, scraping it off, and putting it in a bottle for cells.
Yes.
I didn't do that, though, because I can't even draw an energy circle yet. So I'm like, you know what? Period blood is down the line.
But
yeah,
literally, it's a lot more simple than people think.
Yeah, I think the problem is, and then I have this issue with religion in general, which is why she couldn't convert me. No, she couldn't. Is I just have like a problem with thinking of anything as divine. And
like that
I have
spiritual OCD we were talking about.
What?
Like spiritual OCD.
No, spiritual OCD is so fucked up. Yes. No, but I'm glad you got period underwear. I will say this, and then we need to get this thing done because I have to go fucking look at my mom's new house. I go to the fucking, this is so autistic coded of me. I go when my mom's here to go get period underwear. I come home and I'm like, I'm literally crying because, and I literally left the house in this shit. It's very visible that there's like a giant pad. I left the house, I went to dinner, I was so happy. It was like a sensory, I was experiencing a sensory nightmare because I literally had to put the tampon in. Oh, it hurt. Anyway, so I called the store and I'm like, hey, I don't know if I dealt with you today, but I just wanted to tell you, like, I know this is weird. I'm literally autistic. I just wanted to thank you for your services over at Nick's. I've been wearing Nick's since 2018. I got the fucking boy shirts. They're great. Blah, 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 blah. I know this is weird. Thank you so much for everything you do. Like, it was a great experience. She's like, no, shut the fuck up. I'm autistic too. And she's like, this was the best call that I've ever gotten. Can you please leave me a review? I go leave a review. And I ask her, I'm like, is it weird? What's your Instagram? So I get her Instagram and I go to the store to like get more boy shirts. She's like, it's you. And I'm like, it's you. Because I follow her. And she followed me back. And she's like, I followed you before you lost your account. I'm like, shut the fuck up. No, you didn't. And she's like, yes, obviously, like, you go to the gym and you're autistic. Obviously, I followed you. And it was like such a cute little moment. And now I'm just bleeding. And I'm bleeding into my little diaper. And I did film a video that I did send to you, a clip of it, of me twerking in a gigantic t-shirt and period underwear that looks like a diaper. And it's very visibly a diaper. And then I sold it to a man on passes for $69. And if that's not the life that I
That's
deserve.
late. You use a P.O. box when you do that shit?
Oh, I didn't sell my underwear. No, I sold a
Oh.
video of me twerking.
Oh, see, I thought you were about to send off your period. I was trying to be so hard to be supportive, and I was like,
no, I get people asking me. No, I couldn't.
You would have to at least sell that shit for like $225.
No, because the underwear itself is like $42.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying like $225.
Yeah, we need a markup. We need a big markup.
Like
but no,
a huge one.
No, people have asked me, but there's something about that that's just really. I wanted to do it and I was gonna do it in the past, and then I was like, maybe I'll just like, the standard, open a can of tuna, pour it on the underwear, go to Target, not Target here, but like Walmart, get some cheap underwear, and then I was like, you know what? The only thing that's preventing me from selling my underwear to people is the post office. It's autism. It's the fact that I literally have a mental breakdown every time I go into Canada Post. They have all this signage that's like, please respect the workers. And it's like, if you guys didn't have these fucking insane rules in place, your workers would not be verbally assaulted because of your weird company fucking logistical nightmare. Anyway. I'm gonna go find God. And by find God, I mean, I'm gonna go do my fucking lashes and try not to blind myself to prove to myself that I am a DIY girly and I can do hard things.
You got this. You can do this.
You.
Also, are you doing like extensions or like a lip?
No, I did the extension thing. I don't like doing that. I got a lash lift kit and then I bought beard dye to tint them. I don't know if I'm gonna do that today. Be very careful. Huh?
Be very careful with the beard dye on your eyelashes.
I know. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna tape. I have to go back to TikTok University and watch like a 1 minute and 30-second video to learn how to do it again because I immediately forgot. But what I did gather that is helpful is people use medical tape and then they put the pad down.
That's smart.
And I'm gonna just do one eye at a time.
That's also smart.
When they do it at the lash lift place, your eyes are closed. But I've seen the bitches on TikTok do it. Another thing too is when she did the lashes, it was supposed to be an hour and 15-minute service. It was an hour and 45 minutes. So I was like, I think you just left that shit on too long. Anyway, you know what? Fuck that little ginger bitch and Jesus too. And you know what? This is a podcast for girls who will never find God, who potentially squeeze out their period underwear to make blood glitter dust for spells.
Exactly. And on that note, This has
And
been the 13th episode of the Anti-Filter podcast.
And on that note, if you could take 20 seconds, hit the 3 dots at the top, leave us a 5-star review. If it's not 5 stars, you can suck our dicks. But obviously you liked it if you for some reason got to the end of this insanely long segment. So if you didn't like it though, send it to somebody you hate in order to spite them. And if you really hated it, squeeze out your period underwear and use your period blood to cast some really fucked up Wiccan spell on us. Don't do that though. It will come back at you threefold. That's Wiccan law.
I was about to say, you could try, but my ancestors don't play with me. So
yeah, you're like, I got that fucking weird little mole on the inside of my left wrist. So if you know what we're talking about, then you know. But if you don't, educate yourself.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna FaceTime you and I'll tell you all about it.
Hey Liz, I love you.
Okay, love you guys. Bye. We'll see you next week, hopefully, if we don't have mental breakdowns.
We're gonna be okay this time.
You know what I think we are? I think, as you like to say, we're on the up and up.
We're on the up and up. We're manifesting it. Delulu is the Salulu.
Yes, being Delulu is a Salulu, and also finding God.
My best friend is Jesus.
My best friend is Jesus, and he protects me. And he protects me when I do cocaine.
He protects me from all
and have sex with people have sex with people I'm not married to. God protects me, and he loves me. He
loves me so good. God is good.
God is good all the time. God is good when he is killing people.
Yep,
it
God
is God's
good.
plan, and I am white, so I am God's favorite. Somewhere down the line, when we're really famous, that's gonna get clipped. Me saying what I just said. And in an episode 2 where we're talking about how fucked up it is in the medical community for black people and in the makeup industry for black people, it's gonna get clipped where I say that.
I will say though, I mean, the white people love their whitewashed Jesus, but like the real Jesus is not white.
Jesus is not white. Like, Jesus is brown.
Yeah.
He's so fucking for real.
And technically, the white people, the Jesus that they worship, their white Jesus, we'll call him. That's actually like Michelangelo. It's his gay lover. So like y'all just really bowing down and worshiping a gay man. I mean, I think TikTok University taught me that. It's probably not true, but I like the narrative of it.
TikTok
so worship your gay man. Go ahead, keep doing it.
University. Yes. Okay, we're gonna go now. We're gonna find God in the form of probably breakfast sandwiches in my case.
Slay. I do have bagels in the house.
All right, love you guys. Bye.
Bye.